Yeah. All right. We are live on YouTube. We are live on YouTube. How's everyone doing today? How's it going, everybody? Welcome to episode number 1171. That's right, episode number 1171 of Navigating the Modern World with Eli, the Walking with Purpose live edition. Live today from Red Morton Park, because again, time is of the essence and the sun is setting as we speak. Respectfully, maturely, and professionally, Dawn. My lovely lady Dawn's in the house first. How you doing, babe? Can you hear me clearly and see me clearly? Can you hear me now? Good. All right, like the what was that? The old T-Mobile commercials? No, the Sprint commercial. Was that? I think that was Sprint. I can't even remember. It was so long ago. We haven't. One says Dawn. Verizon. That was Verizon. That's right. That's right. You would know. You are with Verizon. You're right, baby. I stand corrected. I stand corrected. This is day 3 of the Positivity Challenge. And today we're going to be talking about what are you thankful for, right? What are you thankful for? I'm going to be sharing many things that I am grateful and thankful for. Obviously, my lovely lady Dawn, who's been by my side for over 4 years now, and humbly speaking, I hope she feels I've been by her side too. And, I really think that every now and then you need to, thank those that surround you in a positive way and have been there for you. Thank those people and share with them how grateful you are for their friendship, or if they're a family member, appreciate who they are. Appreciate who they are as part of your family that is loyal and trustworthy and just good people, right? So, thank you, babe. Babe, I cannot see messages that are held for review on my end here. So, I wonder if I can change this to live chat and then it'll show me all that. So thank you for moderating that before it even hit the chat. Only going to do probably a couple laps tonight. It is feeling a little chilly out here. I don't have my gloves on, but my jacket's on, obviously. And hey ODN, how are you doing? How's it going, broski? It was really nice to talk to you, or talk with you, a better way to put it. It was nice to talk with you behind the scenes. If you're going to be around later tonight, I will communicate with you behind the scenes in the way that we normally do. And I'll keep you in the loop of the GNA stuff, the awesome GNA stuff that's going around and what we have planned, right? And I got to tell you, folks, I've got to tell you this. I'll tell you, over the last few weeks, especially like this week, I think I've really had a divine intervention. Now, I've been doing this YouTube thing for over 8 years, and I'll tell you, when I first came on here, I was on the platform since it came out, but my first real attempt to run real YouTube channels and run a YouTube type of business was 8 years ago. Before that was just I was uploading videos regarding the networking events I used to run and stuff like that. But when I, started my first real YouTube channel as an actual YouTuber or content creator, I didn't know the ropes, and hey, I overreacted at times. I used to respond to people every time people would say things about me and stuff, and I don't do that anymore. Hey Tia, how you doing? Welcome to the show. I don't do that anymore. I don't feel the need to do that anymore. I have reached a point of clarity and strength and understanding where I just don't feel the need to respond to stupid things on social media. And I've realized that, there are better ways to handle situations. And I'm not saying that the ways that I handled them in the past were completely wrong. Every human being naturally feels like reacting or responding when people are saying some not so nice things about them, especially if it's done constantly, right? But even then, or even now at this point, I just don't feel the need to fuel the social media outrage cycle. Now, I didn't even know what that was 8 years ago. And that's part of the reason why, many creators will take advantage of newer creators, because they don't understand any type of outrage, even fake instigated outrage. If they get you to respond or keep going back and forth, you become their target, you become their content, you become their money-making machine, right? There are some people over there, and I don't know which way they're going. There's a dog there. Okay. And then when you finally figure it out years down the road, it still takes a while to turn things around and detox and stop doing things that you were used to doing, or stop doing what is typically natural for most human beings. Is to respond and defend yourself. Like, that's a natural instinct, right? But I've learned when you're dealing with the social media crowd, the best thing you can do is just ignore dumb stuff and don't let it get to you, and understand that you are the oxygen supply for some people. And if you don't want to give them that oxygen, then don't. Right? And I guess one of the first things, besides Dawn, and I'm grateful and thankful for my mother and my brother and my family, my aunt, my cousin, my late father, God rest his soul, all my family in Greece and here in the U.S., and even a close family friend of ours that's been friends with my mother for, probably over 40 years now. I'm very grateful and thankful for them. But besides that, I'm grateful and thankful to many people here on this platform that have seen my experiences over the years and have stood by me and stood by us over here at the GNA, even when we used to be Coach Eli and we had some other names, A Grip on Life and Coach Eli, Uncompromising Business and Personal Relationship Coaching. And we've had a lot of changes over the years. We've had a lot of rebrands and changes. I'm very grateful and thankful for people like ODN here and Tia and Sandra Palacio and even other people that are a little quirkier than others, like GLM and stuff. I'm grateful and thankful for them as well. And others, if I missed other people, there are people like Lewis Fuller behind the scenes who comes here every now and then. Queen Helen Casey, Alex the Beer Master. There's a lot of people that have been supportive over the years. I'm very thankful and grateful for that. You know, I'm most grateful and thankful to the people that acknowledge the truth, because hey, the Critical Eye Watches, welcome back. Hello, Mr. GNA and friends. Hey, welcome back. Great to see you here. I'm most grateful also for people that can see the truth of all matters, that know what the truth is, despite how other people may spin the truth about other people, and that includes myself as well. Okay? I'm grateful and thankful for the people that can read between the lines. Right? I, right now, am in a place of more clarity than ever before. I'm in a place of more clarity than ever before. And I'm sharing this because I'm hoping starting in 2026, we can start now, but you know, we're ramping things up to really get this going in 2026. I'm hoping I can share this clarity and rub off this clarity to as many people as possible to truly understand what it means to just be in such a cool, calm, and collected place, both online and offline. And a lot of people, they will come to the online world as an alter ego, or you know, they come out online to just get away from the chronicles of life, right? Tia says, hi, the Critical Eye Watches. A lot of people come out on social media and it's an escape. That's a better way to put it. It's an escape. And I understand that sometimes people need an escape and they need to get away. There's nothing wrong with coming out on social media and, you know, having it be your escape, but do it in a positive way. Do it in a positive way. Don't make your escape about, Okay, we gotta wait for that to pass by because that's just really loud. Do it in the positive way, because doing it the negative way clearly shows that you're projecting, right? You don't want to come out on social media and project your insecurities all over the place. There are already more than enough people doing that regularly. You want to be the one that's the peacemaker. You want to be the one that's decent. You want to be the one that's stable. You want to be the one that appreciates people in general and has no desire to create any harm in any way, shape, or form towards anyone, right? You want to be what we call a good Samaritan, right? That's the attitude that I've always had. I want to be a good Samaritan. I'd like to think of myself as a good Samaritan. Humbly speaking, that's up to you to decide that. But this is a big part. But this is a big part of who I am and who I've always been. And that's why I've reached such a deep level of clarity. And each and every day that I come out here, I reach even more clarity. And you know what? The things that used to bother me in the past were the audience numbers. Those don't bother me anymore because, like I've been saying a lot lately, and I've also said it before in the past, if there's one person here and they're getting value and we're helping them better their lives, that's all I need to keep moving forward. If I'm changing someone's life for the better, if I'm helping somebody get out of a bad situation, right, or change their horrible attitude into something more positive, if there's just one person here every now and then that is able to make that change, that more than satisfies me. And this is how I've always been. I've never been money motivated or money driven. Do I need money to survive? I always say yes, we all need money to survive, right? But I've also always said that I will never sell my soul for $1. I wouldn't even sell my soul for $100 or $1,000. I wouldn't sell my soul for $1 million. There's no amount of money you can offer me to sell my soul. Unfortunately, that's not how many, if not most people work. Most people will sell out for a dime, right? Actually feels pretty nice out here. I'm not going to get too far into this. I'm not even going to mention it, but today, my girlfriend Dawn helped me and allowed me to reach more clarity. She helped me reach more clarity. I'm not going to get into the details because some things I'm just going to keep private. I've also learned that as well. Still going to be transparent with you folks. Trust me, I share more than enough already. But some things, I'll give you a little slice, right? And I'll pay credit to the people that help me without having to get into details on something that should remain private, right? That's what clarity does to you, right? What clarity also does to you is you get to a point of where you just don't care how many people are trying to knock you down and say that you're not doing the right thing, right? What clarity allows you to do is to not even focus on that. The only reason why I mention things like that every now and then is because the only way you can teach people is by sometimes having to use examples of how not to be or what not to do, right? But for me, I've reached such a level of clarity within myself and a level of cool, calm, and collected composure that stuff that used to bother me, like, I know people are always going to be talking smack about me, right? And I get that. But I don't even care to go and look and see what people are saying about me. Like, I've gotten to the point of where I'm laser focused on my purpose and helping good people like yourselves that are watching, that are truly open to the help and really appreciate what we do to truly help people here by motivating them and encouraging them and inspiring them to do something that defines their purpose and makes them happy, right? Tia says, I'm grateful for the GNA and I am proud of everyone involved. We know our values and do not have to brag about things accomplished. You help because it is part of us. You're right. I could not have said that any better myself, Tia. And that's why you gained and earned our trust pretty quickly, much more quickly than most people, because of the person that you are. The person that you are and you choose to be. And again, I'm very grateful and thankful for who you are, what you've done to help the organization here. Not even just your financial contributions, which are not expected but greatly appreciated. It's more about who you are and the heart and soul that you have. Just like my lady Dawn has the biggest heart and soul in the world, her and my mother, like, you've got a big heart and soul. I appreciate your positive content even when you're trying to help GLM with her constipation, LOL. Well, she hasn't taken a dump in 6 months. Sorry, in 6 weeks. I mean, if you're backed up that long, you're probably not going to be breathing, and in my opinion, you probably wouldn't be around anymore. But I'm not a doctor. I'm just saying, typically, if you're constipated more than a week or so, you're going to be in the emergency room or urgent care. I've learned to accept, like I said on yesterday's show, I believe it was yesterday's show, I've learned to accept people like GLM. She's not a bad person. She's a good person, but she loves YouTube drama. She loves the YouTube outrage cycle. And even if she's right about the things she says, right? I mean, I could have my opinions. I don't need to express them. I've already done that, and I want to move away from that, at least for the time being, right? Maybe permanently. But, she is addicted to outrage, and she's addicted to the drama because in my opinion, it probably helps balance out her emotions. And, quite frankly, she's not going to come out and say that, but deep down inside, she probably knows that I'm right about that. And the thing is, she can do whatever she wants. If she needs constant outrage and YouTube drama as her oxygen, that's her choice. Yes, she does, but it can be cute at times. Well, any drama can be cute at times, Tia. But when you're dependent on a constant outrage cycle to help you get through your days, like here's the thing, and correct me if I'm wrong, when I'm beginning to notice a lot more now, and it's been like this for a while, but I'm seeing a lot more clarity about this now because I'm in a calmer state, right? I used to be a part of feeding the outrage. I didn't even realize it. I was just trying to defend myself, and by doing that, all I was doing was feeding the outrage loop on YouTube, and I don't want to do that. I never wanted to do that. I just didn't know how it worked, right? But a lot of these people that behave outrageously on YouTube, that are addicted to YouTube drama, they need that as their oxygen. Whether they're creating content, right? Or they're chatting somewhere, or they're making a community posting, or they're commenting somewhere, right? Chatting in a live chat, or commenting on someone's community wall or video, right? It's all about trying to trigger a response and get a reaction, because it creates sorry, there are some people coming. People like that, it creates a false sense of benefit to them in many ways. They might get more views. They might get more donations. And yes, the money and the views are important, but most importantly, it feeds their ego. It feeds their ego of either it could be entitlement or a severe need for validation, right? Social media outrage cycles are typically created by people that have difficulty socializing in the real world. They come on social media and they can do outrageous things and get attention doing it. But that's the only type of attention they can get, right? And all of that, we got more people coming. And all of that outrage that those people have to continue to maintain to keep getting that, to keep feeling that high of validation and audience retention and all that. It all comes with lots of repercussions, because a lot of times, in order to keep that outrage cycle going, you've got to do things you really don't want to do, or things that really aren't right to do, right? And, like I've always said, actions have consequences, right? Actions have consequences. Even something that someone did, let's say 6 years ago, could have consequences today. Your actions of yesterday, figuratively speaking, could have consequences tomorrow. A figure of speech saying that what you do in the past can always come back to bite you, so why do it in the first place, right? Why do it in the first place, and then when you get caught with your pants down, when you get caught with your pants down, you come out and say, well, that was just entertainment for my audience. That's everyone's answer when they get caught with their pants down, right? Tia says it also takes a lot of senseless energy, in my opinion. True, very true. Absolutely very true. Thank you to the 35 people that are here. Again, I'm only going to do a couple laps tonight. I'm going to go and have some dinner with my lady. What are you thankful for, folks? Even if you're here on the replay, please comment in the comment section. And if your comment is held for review and it's a reasonable comment, I will approve it. I know some people here haven't commented because a lot of people know that I have very strict moderation settings. And I hope to at some point, reverse that. I'm working on that. But in the meantime, just know, if you're worried that your legitimate, decent comment is going to get, held for review and then get deleted by me, that's not going to happen. Any reasonable comment, I will approve if it hits the held for review box. Audience is a lot of people that pretend to be successful drama creators are actually poor, lonely individuals that sit inside. And some of them, yeah, absolutely, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'll tell you, I've never felt more clarity. I've never felt more clarity than I currently feel now. And as each and every day passes, things are getting more and more clear. We have worked very hard here at the GNA to break through some cycles that we wish we never encountered in the first place. ODN says, people like that need to learn how to actually become adults and live in the real world, and that's where you come in and help them with realistic opinions. I see you as a counselor of sorts for people like that. I'm definitely not a counselor, and I'm not. I don't have any degree in this. It's just personal development and it's self-help. It's an unregulated industry, and I know you know that. I'm just being clear for everyone else. This is just like a friend giving another friend good advice or encouraging a friend that's struggling to overcome something that can easily be overcome. It's more about motivation and inspiration, right? If I can inspire you to make change for yourself, then, that's what fuels me to keep going. When I see people um, turning things around or changing their lives for the better, that's what really, like I said, that's what really gets me going. That's what fuels me. That's what fuels my fire and makes my fire burn bright more than anything else. And I'll tell you, outside of YouTube right now, and I'm not going to get into any details here. I'm not even going to say what it is about, but I'm dealing with some situations where I'm dealing with some similar people, like some people out here on YouTube, people that are not reasonable, right? People that never accept responsibility for their actions, people that get caught with their pants down. Instead of owning up to it, they try to cover it up or hide it, right? And when we were all younger, we would do all that, but by the time you reach a certain age, it's expected that all adults learn responsibility. And I think we live in a modern world where we have a lot of irresponsible people midlife, like 40s and 50s and beyond that. We live in a very irresponsible society. And yeah, I've never seen anything like it. Maybe it was social media that created that. Whew. But you got to take every day with a grain of salt. You have to take every situation with a grain of salt. And there's a right and a wrong way to handle things. Right? And I know a lot of people, when other people wrong them, they feel like getting violent and stuff like that. And violence is not the answer, right? Violence is not the answer. But hey, I think at times, even people that would never become violent, sometimes even the best of us will say, I feel like doing this or I feel like doing that. You feel like beating somebody up or something, right? And there's a difference between saying that and actually doing it. So, I'm not gonna hold anything against anyone that in a situation where you've been severely wronged and then you feel like you want to beat somebody up, as long as you don't do it. And most people will just say that out of frustration and they don't do it, right? I can understand why those people feel that way, right? But I've gotten to the point of where I don't even think like that anymore. I've gotten to the point of where I don't even think like that anymore. Yeah, every now and then I might slip and say, yeah, I feel like doing this or doing that. But it's very rare and nowhere nearly as often as I would overreact that way when I was younger. My teens, 20s, etc., right? Maybe even into my early 30s, but by the time I hit like my mid 30s, like I started to really react a lot less in the real world. Now, when I came onto YouTube at age 43, I had to learn the ropes of YouTube, which is much different than real life. There are real life people out here, but you have to understand the psychological warfare of trolling and how profitable it is to some creators and how performance bravado and all that kind of stuff comes into play, right? And fake instigated drama, right? And until you actually learn and understand that, even if you've overcome having, violent thoughts or overreactions in that way in the real world, until you figure out how social media and YouTube works, right? You might end up relapsing like I did when I came out on YouTube at age 43. People were trashing me all day, every day, and I would react to it, and I felt the need to defend myself, and I didn't realize they didn't care about the stuff they were saying. They were just doing whatever they could to get a reaction and say, "Oh, look at Eli, he's getting triggered. I triggered him. Oh, what's your purpose on YouTube?" My purpose on YouTube, well, not me, but other people's purpose on YouTube is to trigger people for content and cash donations, right? I'll pay you X dollars if you can trigger Eli in the chat of his live stream within the first 10 minutes. You have to learn to understand that there are people out there that will pay people for that, and creators that will take money like that and make content based off of that. It's you got to learn to understand it, and then it won't bother you. It won't bother you anymore, right? Right? And if it gets pretty bad and very excessive, then there are other options you can take. I'm not going to get into that here today, but there are better ways to handle things than violence. There are better ways to invest your time. ODN says there's a lot of people out there with Roger vibes that want to do stuff like that, but instead they get on the internet and harass people. Hey, Jackie, how are you doing? Thank you for that ODN a second ago. Jackie, people like that are dysfunctional and usually have problems that stem from their past. People like that usually have problems. Oh, yeah, you put that twice. Yeah. It's called unresolved trauma, ODN. ODN, correct me if I'm wrong, but you're talking about unresolved trauma, and in many cases, a lot of people have unresolved trauma since their childhood, right? And look, the only real way you're gonna turn around unresolved trauma from your childhood, the best way, it may not be the only way, but it's the best way, is by speaking with a therapist, like a psychologist, and then even also possibly getting a psychiatrist that can prescribe you medication. Psychologists can only counsel you, right? They can't prescribe medication, but psychiatrists can prescribe you medication. So you work in conjunction with the psychiatrist and psychologist, and most insurance plans cover both. Get the help, right? Jackie says exactly. Yes, it continues into adulthood. Hi, Jackie, says Tia. Howdy, Tia, says Jackie. Yeah, dealing with unresolved trauma. In my opinion, is something that will affect your life more than anything. Because when you have unresolved trauma, you hold on to resentment, right? When you have unresolved trauma, you hold on to resentment, right? And especially, let's say, there's unresolved trauma. I'm just speaking in general. Let's say there's unresolved trauma in a family dynamic, right? Just pick or choose any family, right? I'm just speaking in general. If there's unresolved trauma in a family dynamic, the people that are being affected by that trauma are going to be holding on to resentment towards other family members. And that creates a world of chaos, an endless cycle of chaos for the entire family until the underlying issue or issues are resolved. And a lot of times, these issues can go for 10, 20, 30 plus years unresolved. And then everyone wonders what's causing the issue, right? It's the underlying trauma, right? It's the trauma. Or, sorry, not the underlying, the unresolved trauma. It's the unresolved trauma, right? I'm waiting for the people to pass on by. And the major problem is in those family dynamics, there's typically one or two people that are causing, the issues, holding on to resentment based on unresolved trauma, right? A lot of times, those people that are causing the issues aren't open to counseling. They're not open to talking about it. They're not open to sharing what's keeping that resentment on them, right? Or on the other person, right? What's keeping them to hold on to that resentment? It's because they don't want to address the issue. They're stuck on the issue. They're stuck on themselves, right? A lot of times these people that are stuck on themselves, holding on to resentment, the problem is not the person that they're holding on to resentment towards. The problem is them. They're the problem. They don't want to resolve the issue. They want to keep the drama going. They want to keep, for some reason, they want to keep hurting the person that they're holding resentment towards, right? And you know why they do that, in my opinion, using common sense? Is because they're in pain themselves and they're trying to mask their pain by shifting the pain to someone else. That's clearly a projection. I've been talking about projections for years, and I'll tell you out here on YouTube, there are so many people projecting their insecurities day in and day out. I used to keep up with it. I used to go around seeking it just, for educational purposes and to just share stories. But I've even gotten tired of that. Like the projection on YouTube is massive and real, and it's just, I don't even care for it anymore. It's like I've shared enough stories. Now I just want to preach, stay away from people like that, because all they're going to do is suck your energy dry, right? Thank you, ODN. I'm almost done with the second lap. I'm going to walk around the lot just for a little bit. Not too long because my lady is hungry. Jackie says, I can see that as being possible as well. Even if the conversation isn't about them, they lash out. Yeah, it's true. It's true, Jackie. It's true. You know, people that, you know, I and you folks share your opinions with me in the chat, but I've grown to learn and realize that people that aren't about forgiveness, especially if someone has made a mistake many, many years ago and they've done everything they can to turn things around, and then you can't forgive them. Like in that situation, in my opinion, those people really have no empathy. They really have no consideration for other people's feelings, wants, and needs. But what they want is everyone to take their feelings, wants, and needs into consideration, right? They want to just take it all from you and not give, right? I'll tell you this, at the end of the day, people that are holding on to resentment and they're struggling to accept responsibility of their actions, or they're basically taking things out on people that they're holding on to, let's say 30 plus years of resentment on. The problem is, in my opinion, completely 100% on the person holding on to resentment, especially if it's a 30-year plus resentment, right? And the person that you're holding on to that resentment, or the person that you have all that resentment towards, which is what I'm trying to say, has made a mountain of effort and has moved mountains to try to please you, then where's the real problem at, right? Where's the real problem at, right? I'll tell you this, the entitlement in this world is real, folks. I've never seen so much entitlement amongst, and you know what, I hate to say it, it's the millennial generation, or it's even the borderline Gen X millennials. They're more on the millennial end. Like the tail end Gen Xers have the millennial roots. They might as well just be millennials. Even they become entitled, right? The level of entitlement, that I've seen from even, grown ass adults, like in their 30s and even in their 40s or even 50s. It's just, well, the oldest millennial, what are they, 46, 47, right? The level of entitlement in this world, especially by the millennial generation, I keep saying it, it's true, is just, it behooves me. Let me put it to you this way. It behooves me how entitled some of these people are. And unfortunately, sometimes that could be one of your own family members, right? People see that you have your life together. They don't just admire it, they crave it. They try to absorb your confidence and become what you are, not realizing they're influenced by your presence. Well, Jackie, what are you specifically talking about? Great analysis. ODN. Well, what did ODN say? Very true. I think you were talking about Jackie. Jackie is not ODN. Jackie is someone that I've known for a while, and they haven't been around for a long time. The lash out thing. I mean, the more positive you are, the more they absorb. Are you talking about me specifically, Jackie, or somebody else? I meant Jackie. Yeah, no worries. No worries. No worries, Tia. Are you talking about me, Jackie? If you're talking about me, as an example, I'll respond to that humbly. Just in general, when you are positive, they subconsciously absorb because that's what they crave. You're pretty much like their father and guidance. Yeah, yeah. Well, you're right about that. Good point, says ODN. I think you were responding to Jackie. Yeah, that's a very good point. I think uh, I think most people I think most people just want to live a happy and healthy life and live financially comfortable, right? And I think even most importantly, people want to be accepted, right? No matter what, they want to be accepted. And the internet nowadays allows anyone to be accepted by anyone. Like, you can find people all over the world, and even if you were a social outcast in the real world because of maybe how you behave or how introverted you are or whatever, right? Or maybe you're just a weirdo, right? On the internet, you can find like-minded people like that. The problem is if you're struggling with self-love, and if you're struggling with accepting responsibility, right, for your actions, if you're struggling with a lot of things, surrounding yourself with similar people that are going through the same struggle or through the same struggles, it's just going to make matters worse. Right? And that's what I keep seeing out here, like on YouTube. People create communities based on exactly who they are. And, if you have someone that's reckless and unappreciative and unreasonable and stuff like that, average, everyday, normal people that are not reckless and that are reasonable are not going to want to be around a person like that. They're not going to support someone like that. So the only option these people have that are reckless and that are unreasonable is to find other people that are just like them. Because then they all relate. But then the problem is they're relating on an issue that needs to be resolved. And instead of it getting resolved, they further enable each other and say, oh, yeah, how we're behaving and what we're doing is okay. It's okay to be unreasonable because we're all unreasonable here. So to them, unreasonable equals reasonable, right? Because, yeah, when they're surrounding themselves with people just like them that are unreasonable, the unreasonable people are patting the unreasonable creator on the back, and it's validating that creator and giving them a false sense of feeling that what's typically, or what typically comes off as unreasonable to most people is leading the creator to believe that they're reasonable. They're hurt people that need trauma counseling by confirming, reassuring it with each other. Says Odian. Tia says, I feel many envy others, like Jackie said, and that's where some of the harassment comes in. Not content, or not, so not content in their own skin. Yeah. Yeah, they are not, you're talking about not content, you're talking about content. They're not content people. They don't love what they see in the mirror. They aren't happy with who they've ended up becoming. But yeah, says Tia, absolutely. Yeah. They aren't happy who they've become, how they've turned out. But they only have themselves to blame, and they can still turn things around, Tia. These people any people that are struggling with this can turn things around. They can turn things around. We're at 62 minutes. Thank you to the 33 people that are here. That's true, Tia. That's why they're always attacking other people. True. 62 minutes, an hour and 2 minutes, about to turn an hour and 3 minutes in about 30 seconds. So I'm going to wrap it up, folks. Thank you to everyone for being here. I hope you enjoyed the show. I've got to run an errand and then go home and eat some dinner with my lady and hang out and enjoy the night. And tomorrow is going to be another beautiful day. Today was a beautiful day. It was a great day today. It was a very productive day today. And yeah, I'll tell you, my lady Dawn and I'll tell you, babe, if you're still watching, I'm not sure if you're still watching, but I'll tell you, thank you again for allowing me to see so much more clarity today than I've seen in a while, or probably have ever seen. It's amazing what happened today. Maybe we'll get into another time. Also, our podcast that Don and I did this week is going to be great. We'll surprise you with what the topic's going to be. It'll be released on Wednesday at 11 a.m. Eastern, 8 a.m. Pacific on the other channel, GNA, Genuine Personal Development. Links below the description, a few lines down. This is GNA 2, Genuine Live Personal Development. Good night, all. See y'all later. Absolutely. Bye, says Jackie. Odien says later. That's true, Tia. That's why they're always attacking other people. Yeah, we already read that. Respectfully, maturely, professionally, Don says, good night, everyone. The only person that determines yourself. You're the only person that determines yourself, right, babe? Before we go, babe. The only opinion of yourself that really matters is your own. And the only person that can control how you end up or any changes you make if you're not happy is yourself, right? And that all comes by accepting responsibility. Yeah, yes, you yourself. Yeah. Until you can accept responsibility of any situation that's affecting you, you're not going to be able to turn it around. Even if you seek help from a counselor or a therapist or psychiatrist, they can't help you until you accept the fact and be responsible and say that there's a problem. Well, Eli, I thought that that's the job of a therapist, is to make me realize that there's a problem. No, you go to the therapist because there's already a problem and you've realized it and you want to change it. And if you don't know what your problems are, Oh, I don't know what to tell you. It's time to go. Love you all. Have a good one. Take care. And as always, be good to each other. See you all tomorrow. Good night, everyone.